Hey there, people! Look at that. We're up and running. So I thought I would show you the control panel here in the dark first. So you can see it. It had quite a glare on the screen there, but... So that's the inverter in the middle. This is our batteries. For the first time, I plugged in my generator. Oops, hitting buttons here. Yeah, that's the voltage going to the house. So this is a generator, and that's a little power line. So if we had shore power, it'd be that. It doesn't know the difference. So it's coming from the generator. It's going to the house, and then it's also going through there, being inverted and turned into battery power. I was at 14.5 when I fired up the generator, so now it's up to 15 or 50, and fully charged will be around 53, I think. And once I have my array set up, then the solar will send to here and to here and to here. So yeah, so that's that. Let's lighten it up here, and I'll show you the rest. Where's me lights? All right. So yeah, these are working. I got the batteries all geared up, and the balancer is now up and running. I had it running without it for a little while, and after a day and a half, I checked the balance with a multimeter, and not one of these cells was off by 0.1 of a volt. So they're naturally well balanced right now through all the testing that I had done on these cells, and just putting them in the packs the way that they were sorted, they're perfect. Here's the balancer right here. It's in line now, and these 13 leads go to each string. And since I was making this thing, like I said, semi-permanently, hold on, let me get a wide shot here. Yeah, there you go. That's way better. Yeah, so this thing was like semi-permanent, like I say. So I wanted quick connections for that and safety. So if I want to move it around, I can just pull these apart real quick and move them around. And the balancers, usually you would solder them to the bus bars, but I put every single one of them on its own alligator clip. Right? So they're just clipped on. Kind of hard to see, but right, little alligator clip there. And that works. So when I go to move everything and put it on the wall here down the road, might be a while before I do that, but when I do, I can do it in probably an hour or so and unhook everything and clip it back up, so it's way better. It works just fine if it's just clipped on, because this just sends like half a volt. If one of these is off at the most, like these are very small gauge lines, very small. So it just sends a little trickle to each one to keep it balanced. And that just keeps them good, keeps them strong. We got our main breaker here for the battery geared up. And where this is an isolated type battery, it's not grounded. It only needs a breaker on either the negative or the positive, and the negative just worked out because it was a short line anyway. So we got that. And the generator's coming through. Down the road again, I'm still trying to find a cheap box. I just need a big on-off power box. What do you call it? A load center, but a single throw load center basically. I won't have a breaker panel in here because really it doesn't need it, and really it doesn't. This thing doesn't need it because it has a breaker right there anyway. It's built into this unit. So, but I'll have a redundant one anyway, just for shits and giggles. That's it. That's it, man. And it works sweet. This battery has been keeping the place going for like a day and a half now, and the voltage was barely down at all. I just wanted to see how long it would take the generator to top it up, because this thing kicks out 5,000 watts into the batteries. So this thing is giving 100 amps into these cells right now, and it's only been running a few minutes, but soon, in like an hour or so, half an hour, I'm going to take my thermal imaging camera and look for any hot spots, make sure everything's copacetic and I don't have any fire issues. But yeah, I'm charging all my stuff there. Got got the new one on the table ready to go. So I'm already working on the second bank. And yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm at. And it's pretty sweet. It's been a long time coming. I had a few questions on the last video about expense and all that stuff. I honestly, these batteries are expensive, and it's expensive to do it this way. Kind of because you have to acquire the gear to do it, and so I'm kind of including that. But those are toys and tools. They're good for all kinds of projects down the road. But do you count that as an expense? Yeah, I guess you do, because maybe I don't build another one after this. Honestly, I don't really want to build a giant one like this. I'll never do that again, but I might build some, e-bike size batteries just for fun. Just some small power banks, 1 kilowatt hour type things or stuff. I want to build one for my camper. So I'll be building a small one for that. It won't even be probably barely the size of one of those. One of these guys. Like I say, there's 100, I think it's 104. 104 cells in each one of these. And this is about, I don't know, 2 kilowatt? Yeah. Well, it's 200 amp hours in one of these. So yeah, watt hours, it's the 4.2 times 200. So yeah, 800 watt hours. So yeah, I don't know. I can math that up, but it's like, yeah, it's about a kilowatt hour probably in one of these. So yeah, there's, like I say, there's 13 there, so it's 13 kilowatt hours. Yeah, that's right. I've done this math before. Because this whole bank, everything, these two and this one over here, all together is going to be about 25 kilowatt hours. Because originally these were going to be bigger, and I had done the math, and it was near 30 kilowatt hours. So I'm a little shy of that, but who's complaining? Energy storage for 25 kilowatt hours is pretty damn nice. That'll run anything. And we don't run really like heavy like a normal home would. We use a lot of the stuff using propane. Like our dryer is propane. It has a little bit of a pull to start it, so that motor wants to pull like over 2,000 watts just to start it, because that's how motors are. But once it's running, it's only using like 500 watts. Same as a refrigerator, it'll draw like 500-600 on startup for just a minute or so, not even a minute. And once the compressor's up and running, it's 100 plus watts. Starlink is 100 watts. We got a deep freeze we run. All the phones, power tools, charging up things. Computers, laptops. Jody has her little space out there. She's running some power tools too. Now I'm creating enough power with this I can run my workshop, because this has an output of 5,500 watts at 120 volts. This particular unit does not produce 220. I think there's a way to do it. If I buy a second unit, I can split them or tie them together and make 240. But right now that's 120 only. And I didn't mind, because generally that's all I would run anyway. I was a little disappointed because in the ad on Amazon it said 120, 240. But when the unit actually showed up, it was only 120. And I felt like, I was okay with it because it was still fairly inexpensive. It was $899 for that unit shipped. So $1,000 with tax. And I think that's a bargain for that, because it's an all-in-one. It does everything. So I don't have to buy an inverter. I don't have to buy a charge controller. I don't have to buy what else is new? Well, it's a charger. It's a battery charger. It's a charge controller for solar. Yeah, it's everything. Does it all. And the breaker built in, so there's breaker you don't have to buy. You just got to buy your wiring, tie it all in. Does everything. Yeah, and it charges at 100 amps. So that's amazing. 48 volts and 100 amps, so it's dumping 5,000 watts into that. I think I don't have it set up that oh yeah, its default is 80 amps. I can set up to 100, but it's going to make that generator groan because it's only a 4,400 watt generator. So it's probably like, it's chugging out there right now. It's my little inverter generator, but that's what I'm doing. I'm just testing the hell out of this stuff. It's going through sea trials, and so far it's been pretty amazing. And usually 5 seconds after I say that, something happens and something blows up. Hopefully one of these does not blow up, because that is going to be a lot of energy in this little 8x8 building. It'll probably melt it right to the ground, because once this starts burning, they don't stop burning. You can't do anything with it. If something happens here and I'm in the building, I plan to have a webcam on here 24/7 with an alarm. I think I can get a smoke alarm tied into Wi-Fi, so anything happens, I'll be notified. And if I can get out of here fast enough and unplug a battery and chuck it in my pond to put it out, that's what I'm going to do. When you do these kinds of things, you want to be safe. Like, I have my battery set in our place that has been there for years. I wouldn't say it is as well built as these, and that is the reason, for the most part, I've built this system here, all new, freshly tested everything. It's all good and set up for me to be safe and not burn the place down. And then I'm going to take those batteries out of there. I'm going to retest them all, get rid of the old stuff, and throw them back in the mix for building projects, and go from there. So anyway, that's where I'm at. These things are amazing. That thing, it goes off on its own. There's no setting on it to keep the screen on. I really wish I could keep the screen on all the time, because I kind of like looking up at it. And where it's up high from my chair, I gotta like lean up there and hit the button. Not that I gotta look at it, but when you got a new toy like that, you know, you want to check it out. I got the thermal imager here. I'm gonna just turn it on and see if we do have any heat. We're probably gonna have some, because it's been charging here a little bit. The unit itself doesn't look very hot. I mean, I can see the box shape of it there, right? Bit of heat right there on that line. Above ambient, not much. Yeah, it's a little deceiving. That's inside the box. That's the lines. Not super hot. It looks hot, but it's really not. It's probably just barely warm. If you look at the temperatures there, where that cross member is in the middle there, that's reading the actual temperature of what you're pointing at. So that little hot spot's 29 and ambient's 25, or sorry, 22. So that's barely warm. That's not even hot at all. The breakers are cool. That line there, oop, turn that back on there. This thing goes off automatically. Yeah, it's not hot at all, 25. Let's look at the balancer. Balancer's probably doing a bit of work. See if I can see that there. Nah, not really. No, a little above ambient. Everything was pretty cool down here. This line, this is a negative line going from one battery to another. It's got a little bit of heat right there. And like I say, if you look at the temperature, the background temperature is 17. That's only at 25, 20, oh, 31. That's not very hot. That's only like a warm summer day. I don't see anything really hot. Those lines, that's the line going from one battery to another. They're a little warm. I wish this thing would not shut off on me. I gotta set the timer on that. Yeah, that's not hot at all. It's just, it compares to the background, right? So it's hotter than the background because I didn't have the heat on in here. It's a bit cool. But other than that, I don't see anything really weird. not very hot. Like I say, it looks kind of hot. You want to see real hot, I pointed at the heater. That's hot. 148 degrees Celsius, right? So that's hot. So, yeah. We're doing good. Hey, yeah, sorry, I forgot to even mention the cost of everything. Like I said, tools and that, let's not even count that. The cells themselves, I have spent between a quarter and 50 cents per cell. So that adds up. For cells that I end up using. I'm not counting the ones that I trash. But that's what they average. Things I can use, that's what they cost. So, roughly 3,000 cells. So, $1,500 on batteries. Plastic joiners, that adds up maybe $50-$60. The metal to join them, like the bus bar materials, let's just say another $100. The balancer, this one I paid too much. It was like $100 some. I got another one coming through AliExpress, and it's like $45. Same unit for this other bank. So pretty inexpensive. The biggest cost of these batteries is time. I started this like a year ago, and I spent quite a few hours in the beginning, and then I took a big break from it, and then I got back into it again. And man, I got days and days on these things. So, I treat it like a hobby. I enjoy it. It's fun. It's just stuff I like messing with. And you know what? If it's a hobby, you don't count it as labor. This is just, to me, it's fun. I like being out here messing with this stuff. It's a good time. But overall, the cost monetarily, counting that power unit and stuff like that, you wouldn't really count that, but as the batteries. But this whole power system, let's just say at the very most, counting tools and everything, it's probably $3,500 Canadian. Like, that's nothing. You can buy like commercial batteries that are meant to do this, like power banks. They usually come in 200 amp hours setups. So, this is multiple units compared to that, So, and they're $3,000 for one battery, and it's only like a small percentage of these. Once this is set up, you're talking 3-4 days of power when the lights go out. Like the end of the world is black. Let's just say the end of the world comes. Everyone's in darkness but Dan. If we don't run anything heavy, you're talking a week of power at least. As long as you don't fire up anything big. Because even if I do fire up anything big, I can run a couple days, 2 or 3 days maybe. I don't even know. Like I said, I started testing it. Kind of got bored with it just sitting there giving me power all the time. That's why I wanted to charge it up. I'm just kind of bored with it just sitting there. It's only been a day and a half, 2 days that I've been messing with it, but I'm curious about the charging. But yeah, it's a bargain as long as you don't mind the time. And you can source these batteries in ways that maybe they cost a little more, but they're already tested. So you can skip that big time-consuming step of testing them. That's a huge step. It takes forever to test these things, unless you got multiple chargers, like a whole table load of chargers. And you can buy these chargers in bulk. Charger testers. There are chargers and charger testers. The charger testers cost double. But yeah, you could go on AliExpress or something like that and buy probably 10 of them, for like $20 a piece or something like that. What's a couple $100 if it saves you weeks of time? That's what I should have done. I really should have evaluated the time cost by only having 4 chargers. I should have had a bank of them, like 10 or 20 of them here, and I would have got the job done really fast. So yeah, a few $1,000 and I am set up for the Armageddon. bring it on. I'm waiting for the comet to come out of the sky and kill us all. Except me. I don't want that. Anyway, that's it for cost. I had to insert this because I did the whole video and I didn't even mention the cost. So yeah, top dollar, even counting the building and everything, man. I'm into it for like $6,000. That's counting the building that rolls. So if I ever build a camp somewhere else or whatever, I just unplug it and I take my power plant with me. You're not getting that. So anyway, like I said, love y'all. Have a good Saturday evening. Send me a cheers. That's all I want. I don't give a shit about a thumbs up or anything. Drop a message. Cheers.